already know what it is. Jay Williams, let's live life, and we're back. 2025 is here. New videos, new intros, so let's get into it. As y'all know, prison is a pretty despicable place. It's a place filled with a whole bunch of men that made a whole bunch of mistakes. Some worse than others. You're going to meet bad guys along the way, and you're going to meet some guys that are okay. You might have the chance to meet some actually really good people along the way. We're all human. People make mistakes. You'll meet everything from shoplifters to guys that have somebody or multiple somebodies. The thing about meeting new people is first impressions, right? You know, they say first impressions are everything. I can agree with that. You might meet somebody and think, hey, this is a good person. This is a good guy. And the only thing that's going to determine whether that's true or not is time. I've had this happen. And that's how today's story begins. A man that I thought was all right. A man that I didn't know much about. And then everything came out about the guy. And I was not ready for the reason this man was locked up. I wasn't ready for the story he told me, or the story he tried to spin. I get why crime is committed. I get it. I get that we're not all wired the same. I get that this person might do that and you might absolutely, no, I could never do nothing like that. I get it. But let's make this clear before I get into today's video. Some things are just off limits. The women, the children, they're off limits. I don't care how frustrated you get, how hot-headed you get, what it is you're trying to hide, what you don't want others to know. The women are off limits, man. The kids as well. Meeting someone that you thought was cool only to find out the man is a monster. Yes, monsters are real, and yes, it always ends bad. How I found out the truth about this man and the crimes he committed. Stay tuned for a couple of updates. Happy 2025. And as always, y'all know I done seen it. You know I done lived it. So let's relive it. Real fast, we now have a membership offer on the page. It's $1.99. Jump in and get yours first. So you can say, hey, I was the first one to get a membership. I was the 5th. I was the 10th. I was number 103. I was 1,365. Whatever it may be. The membership's $1.99. Members only lives. Well, I'll bring members up on the live panel if y'all want to chop it, or to just be you guys in the comments section. You also get access to pictures, shorts, and videos that others cannot get access to immediately. A lot of videos will be put on membership only. So, go check it out. And if you can't do that, just make sure you hit that subscribe button. Have you not subscribed? Are you subscribed? Hit the subscribe button. Let me take a second while you hit subscribe. I appreciate that. Let's get into today's story. Now, if you find yourself locked up, headed to prison, in DOC, in most states, everywhere I've ever been, you're going to go through what's called a reception center. Now, this is a place where they send everybody. There's multiple ones. They're spread out. It's not just one place. There's a whole bunch of different receptions. But these places generally have general population, and then they have a big section of the prison that's designated for guys that are just passing through. Now, the point in this place is to classify you due to your crime. That means that due to whatever you did, that's going to determine the level of prison you end up at, right? Now, here's the one thing most guys don't tell you about receptions and receiving centers. Every crime of every caliber starts off at these places. So you can be in there for jaywalking, all the way up to people, not picking up dog poop off the lawn, if that's a thing. You get where I'm going with this? You got guys that have the most simple crimes that probably shouldn't even have them in prison, all the way up to the guy you see on the news that there's a nationwide manhunt behind because he done snapped out and took some people up out of here. All of you are mixed together. So if you think that you're going to get in trouble and you're going to be sheltered, you're still going to have to go through this little process of being with all these different types and calibers of men. Now, with this, you don't really know who you've got around you. You can't assume everybody in here is Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. You can't do that. You can't assume that everybody in here did something heinous. You can't do that. But there are a good amount of guys in there that are never going home, that are doing crazy, crazy life sentences, football numbers, if you may. And you got some guys sprinkled in that Might be going home in 6 months. Might be going home in a year. I ended up hitting receiving with 4 months left. Facts. So in saying all that, you kind of got to be careful of who you attach yourself to or who you become friends with. Virginia's not one of those states where everybody's just, hey, spread your butt cheese. Give me that paperwork. I know you got it in there. We're not one of those states that does that. This state is more like, it's more like the military. Don't ask, don't tell. But when it comes to me, I'm going to know what you've done if you're going to be around me. I need to know why you're locked up. You can't be in here for some touching on something or doing something really, really bad that goes against my morals and my code, and we be kicking it. And even if we're not kicking it, and I find out, you got to stay away from me. Don't come around me. Which brings us to Burus. Now, I had first gotten this place. This place is called Nottoway Correctional Center. Look it up. Nottoway, I'm not going to say is the most violent or the craziest place I've ever been, but it is violent. There are a lot of men there in general population that will never, ever go home again. So I meet a guy named Burus. Burus is not his real name. That's just the name I remember him being called. But looking back on it, that's not his real name. But we're going to call him Burus. How do I meet Burus? I'm in the cell with the old Tadpole. This is my cellie at the time. Dude named Tadpole. Y'all wait till I do the Tadpole video. Oh, man, this dude was just one of the worst. But I'm in the cell with this dude Tadpole. And I hear this guy at the cell next to me going, man, y'all sure y'all ain't got a soup? I sure am hungry. And I get up and I walk over to the door. And I look out. This would be the first time that I saw this man that we're going to call Burus. Now, Burus is 6'1", 235, 240, light skin, bald head, wired frame glasses, older man. We're talking somewhere around 70 years old if I had to guess. And the man's hungry. He don't have nothing to eat. He don't have a bowl. He don't have a cup. To obtain these type of things, you got to have some type of money to order commissary. So he's at the cell next to me with my homeboy Poochie. What's up, big Poochie? Poochie still doing 10. Hope you see us when you get out, man. Much love to you and be safe. But he's at the cell next door to this dude named Poochie. And he's asking Poochie, come on, Poochie, you sure you ain't got a soup? Poochie being a good guy, Poochie gives him a soup. Hey, good looking, man. Y'all got a bowl or a cup? Poochie said, go on, man. Come on now, you ain't drinking out of my cup. You ain't eating out of my bowl. I gave you a soup. Make the soup in the bag, and there you go. I appreciate it. And Burus rolls out. Now, Burus lives on the bottom tier. I live on the top tier. Burus is in the cell with a dude we call Snipes. You know why we call this man Snipes? Because he looked like Wesley Snipes. If Wesley Snipes was 5'4", had a little afro, took 20 showers a day, and worked out non-stop, that's Burus' cellie, Snipes. My first impression of the guy, super friendly guy. Super nice guy. One of those guys you look at and you go, how did this man end up in here? Now, they clearly made a mistake, man. Homeboy should not be here. This is somebody's grandfather. You can look at him, tell he's worked his whole life. Speaks very, very well, like he's done been through either the military, which we'll get into, some type of college. You could tell he was raised right. Seems like a good man. I would see him each day, and you could see it in him. You could tell somebody that's just a beggar. They don't care. They look around, first person they see, they shoot over and ask for something. Burus wasn't a beggar. He would stand there, ribs tight, hungry, looking around to, I guess, try to gauge the room. Who does he mess with in here? Who is he spoken to? Who's going to potentially feed him once the hunger pains set in? And trust me when I tell you, you get hungry. The food they give you is not going to suffice filling your appetite. You damn near starving. I'm talking about hungry as a termite in a tin can. You ain't going nowhere. Stomach on rumble. But Burus will be looking around the room, and some of these guys ain't going to break bread. It's a soup, man. Get a man a soup. It's just a soup. Talking about you was balling in the streets. You can't afford to give away. Anyways, my cellie Tadpole is always wheeling and dealing. The moment that door pops, he's out there. He's trying to do his thing. So he's going to this person trying to borrow food, or going to this person seeing if he can get this and do that. And he would be the first one to start interaction with Burus. Somebody gives him a whole bunch of food. He store boxes it, which means he gets one item, and then he has to repay 2 items. Well, he goes to store box, he gets like $50 worth of food. So now his people are going to send this guy $100. He comes up to the cell, breaks it all out. He's counting it. He's going to take what he's going to give to the guy that he wants to get the stuff from and tuck a little bit to the side. Burus sees him with the bag. Him and Tadpole had talked in the past. And Burus, hey, come here, youngin'. Remember now, I told you this man's almost 70 years old. Hey, come here real quick, man. I hate to do this. I don't like asking people for nothing, waiting on my people to send my money. Can I get a suit from you? Can you help somebody out? I'm hungry. Tadpole looks around. Yeah, I got you. I'll be right back. Comes up to the cell, puts some stuff away, bags some stuff out, and he throws the soup to the side. He makes his move, comes back to the cell, yells out to Burus. Burus comes upstairs, he gives him the soup. After he gives him the soup, Burus stands there talking a minute. Hey, what's up, man? What's your name? So my name's Jay. What's up, Jay? Nice to meet you. My name's Burus. Didn't shake his hand. He's talking to me at the door. That's what's up. Go back about my business. It would be a couple days after this, I go down and use the phone to log into the kiosk, see if anybody had messaged me. And his cell's directly in front of the kiosk, directly in front of the phone. So I go over, I do what I'm gonna do on the kiosk, call my wife, talk to her. Then when I'm done, I hang up the phone. He goes, hey, Jay, right? Hey, come here, rap with me for a minute, man. Come kick it with me and come sit down and talk with me real quick. All right. So they got these chairs stacked up, right? You can't keep the chair in your cell. When you come out, there's not enough seats, so they have these plastic chairs, they stack. I go grab me a chair, I pull up beside the wall, and he would always sit with his back to the wall and his chair pushed back. Very common in prison to keep your back to the wall. So I pull up a chair, I tell him, hold on a second, man. Hold my chair down, I'll be right back. Meaning, don't let nobody take my chair. I go to my cell, grab my cup of coffee I had, I come down, and we commence to talking. And right out the gate, he asked me, you use the phone a lot? Nah, not really, man. Maybe once, sometimes 2 times a week. Oh, all right. I know he wants something. Why make him ask if I know what he wants? So, what's up, man? I really need to get in touch with my daughter so I can get in touch with my lawyer, man. I'm not talking to nobody. You're not telling me what's up with my case. And, you know, my people ain't sent my money. I need a 3-way if you can ever do it. If you can have your people pass a message, that would be great. Now, I typically don't do stuff like this. But he's an elder. He's an older man. Great manners. Everybody seems to like the guy. So I think about it for a second. And I'm a strong believer in that don't start nothing, won't be nothing. Get this man a 3-way. Now he wants a call every time you make a call. But I tell him, hey, I can do that for you one time, man. One time only now. This ain't going to be a reoccurring event. This ain't AT&T. This ain't Verizon. We ain't T-Mobile over here. I'm laughing and joking with the man, right? He's laughing back. Good looking. I'm not trying to sit there and talk all day. I put the chair back and go sit down at the table and play dominoes with another dude I know. Later that evening, he says, hey, you know anything about the law? Unfortunately, I do. Pull up a chair. So here I go with his chair again, backed up against the wall, and I'm sitting down talking to Burus. I said, well, what you got going on, man? He said, I need an appeal. I said, did you have a lawyer? Like, did you have a paid lawyer? No, I had a court-appointed lawyer, and he's dragging his feet on doing my appeal, but somebody else is telling me about a really good appeal lawyer that I want my people to try to get in touch with to help me get up out of here. So he says, you got a lot of time, huh? Got a little bit. Now, that could mean a couple things. That could mean, yeah, I got a lot of time, or that could mean I got a little bit. So I just said, I got a little bit. Man, well, I hope you get home, Jay. You seem like a good man. Now, at this point, we started talking here and there. We talked more and more and more and more. One day I called my wife. She's at work. She can't talk. She says, look, I love you, but I can't talk right now. I say, hey, look, you got 30 seconds. Make this 3-way for this man if it's not disturbing your day. And you can sit the phone down. Since I can't talk, maybe you can put him on 3-way and he can talk to his people so the phone call won't be wasted. She says, yeah, I can do that. I'm in the back right now. So I say, Burus, come here, man. He comes over. What's the number? That's my daughter. That's my daughter right there. She grown. She's like 40 years old. That's my daughter. I said, all right. She answers. My wife says, hey, I think it's your dad, Burus. I have him on the phone. Yeah, let me talk to him. So I give him the phone. Now, my wife, not being nosy, lays the phone down, but puts it on speakerphone so that she'll know when the phone call is over so she can hang it up. And she said she goes on back to work and she's not far from the phone. She said it doesn't take long and she's dealing with somebody and she has to go over and turn the volume down. But what's being said piques her interest. She said the daughter starts screaming. How could you do that to mom, Dad? How could you do that to mom? Dad, how could you do that to that woman? And she said that he started saying, come on now, you know these phone calls is recorded and I ain't do what they said I did. And my wife said the daughter completely went off. Stop lying. Why are you lying? You did do it. You told mom, you flipped out, you did do it. He says, baby, well, I'm going to get off this phone. You talking crazy on this phone. You know these phone calls recorded. Hey, you going to reach out to that attorney for me? I need to get this appeal rolling. My wife said his daughter told him, no, I'm not going to reach out to anybody because you're where you need to be for what you did to that woman, what you did to us, and what you did to mom. She said, and the daughter hung up the phone. I'm not nowhere near the phone. I'm not clocking his phone calls. I'm not standing there. I'm up in my cell and I look out and I see he's no longer on the phone. Phone call was cut short. So I look over the tier. I'm on the second tier. He's got his chair backed up and he's sitting there. And he's got his head down. Let me go check on this dude, man. It don't look like he got good news. You can just kind of read the room. I didn't plan on coming back out the cell, but we'll check on the old head, right? So I go out and I immediately grab a chair and I pull it up against the wall. I say, you all right? Man, this go round, I started to see a side of him I'd never seen before. I seen an angry, frustrated side, right? He don't say anything. I say, yo, Burus, you all right? Got his head down. Tears on his glasses. This is his head. Yeah, I'm all right. Removes his glasses. Cleans the tears off the lenses where they done puddled up right when his head was tilted forward. I said, you got anything you want to talk about, man? Anything you want to get off your chest? This shit is crazy, Jay. This shit is crazy, Jay. I'm an old man and I shouldn't be in here, Jay. Everybody hates me and they turned on me and I shouldn't be in here, Jay. Now I'm not going to pry. I'm not going to ask too many questions. He's already opened the gate. Been through this before, so I know he's about to flood me with all this info. I called my daughter, hoping to make this thing work with this appeal and get in touch with this lawyer. Tried to ask her about the money he was supposed to send me. Didn't even get to that. She hung the phone up on me. At this point, I don't know about the conversation. I haven't talked to my wife yet. He said, Jay, they got me in here for some bullshit, Jay. I ain't never hurt nobody in my life. Was in the military my whole life. Retired out of the military. Then got a place called Philip Morris out here. And that's a tobacco factory that manufactures cigarettes. Went to work at Philip Morris after doing all that time in the military, Jay. I was a good man. Family, wife, children, they all grown, got grandbabies now. I was a good man. But I'm still a man, Jay. And I did things wrong throughout my life, Jay. Not a lot, but when I messed up, I messed up. But I don't deserve to be here. At this point, I'm still just looking at him. He sit beside me and was kind of looking over, all right, what's next? What's he going to say next? He said, I'm going to tell you about my case, and I want to know your honest opinion after I tell you everything I got to tell you. And what you would think if you was a judge rehearing my case, or you was an appeal lawyer, attorney, anybody, man, what would you think? That's what you got going on, man. He said, Jay, they got me in here for premeditated first-degree homicide. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Didn't see that coming. Completely judged this book wrong. Looking at him, you would think that he's in here for tax evasion or that something petty. He said, Jay, I've done things through the course of my marriage that I'm not proud about. And it's crazy that it all happened when I was older. Been with my wife for a very, very long time, Jay. Very long time. And like I said, I ain't always been the best husband. Been a good provider, been a good man, but I've done things I shouldn't have done. He said, one of the things I'm not proud of is creeping around. I creep around. This is a black guy married to a black woman. He says, some things I just can't resist, Jay, and it's the white women. They like me and I like them, and I just can't resist the white women. Jay gets me every time. He says, so I starts talking to a woman a while back, right? He said, our conversations would go on and on and on. He said, and it led to other things, Jay. He said, we got a full-fledged relationship going. Now, she don't know that I'm married, Jay. She don't have no clue. I never told her about that. He said, my fingers started swelling years ago from the diabetes, and I can no longer wear my wedding ring. He said, so Jay, I goes to tell this woman I don't feel right about what's going on. If my wife finds out, it's going to be a big problem, and I don't want that. I wouldn't want to hurt her. He said, well, I didn't want to tell her on the phone. I didn't want to do it through text message. So I decided I was going to go by there, have dinner with her, and break things off. Say goodbye. Go back to my family, back to being the family man I am. He said, but I go by there this night, Jay, and I had a little thought in my head that maybe she talked to other men. Wasn't too sure, but I kind of thought it, because at times I'd call, she wouldn't answer. Just like when she would call, I wouldn't answer. He said, but I didn't press myself too much on it, because I knew what I had going on in life. He said, but I goes by there this night, Jay, and I'm driving my truck, same truck I've been driving for 20 years. He said, I see her out in her driveway, and her car door is open, and she's sitting in her car, and there's a white man standing there talking to her. He said, I got a little jealous, got a little pissed off, but I don't really know who it is, don't want to jump to conclusions. I'll just wait till another time to break things off with her. He said she didn't even look up as my truck drove by. He said about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. He said, so I just kept driving. He said she lives next to a cemetery. He said, so I drove over to the cemetery, drove down a little road. You could see through the trees to her house. He said, I sat and watched her and him talk for a few minutes. He said, then I started to get jealous again, so I decided just to go home. He said, so that's what I did, Jay. And that's the last time I seen the woman, Jay. Didn't talk to her no more, none of that, just went home. He said, I wake up the following morning and there are cops knocking on the door. There are investigators, detectives, all types of police out front. In this nice neighborhood we live in the same house we've been in for most of my life, there's cops everywhere. He said, they tell me they need me to come down to the police station and talk to them about something that happened. He said, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know. I was scared, I was shook, Jay, but I agreed. He said, I go down there and they get the homicide detectives in there, ask me if I know why I'm in that room, and I tell them no. Then they ask me if I know a woman by the name of such and such, and I tell them yes. And then they start asking me other questions about how I know her. He said, which I was afraid to say, because mind you now, I'm married. And I don't want my wife to find out. She followed us down there. She's sitting outside in the lobby as I'm in the back being interrogated. The last thing I want is everything to come out to her, especially for something I got nothing to do with. He says he's not trying to get exposed for the relationship he had with this woman during the course of being questioned during this investigation. He says they asked me where I was at last night, Jay, and I lied. He said I lied because I didn't want to put myself around there and being with this woman, not because something had happened to her, but because it puts me into the whole adultery category. So I told him I went out to the store, I did a couple things, and they told me, you want to try that again, you're a liar. They had gotten his truck off of a neighbor's ring camera right out front of the house, along with some other video footage. He says, Jay, these people would go on to charge me with premeditated first-degree murder and the death of this woman. But I didn't do it, Jay. I swear to you, I didn't do it. On my kids and my wife, I didn't do it, Jay. He said the man that was in that driveway that night took that woman's life. They said that they found her in the car with the car door still open, Jay. And once they tried to charge me, I told them, no. Look, I did go by there. This is what's really going on. I know I was going to break things off, but there was another man in the driveway. And the car door was open, like y'all described. She was sitting in the car, and he was standing at the doorway talking to her. Did you see a vehicle? No, I didn't see no vehicle. That's weird, because neither did the ring camera. The ring camera only seen your truck. He said, so they arrested me. Now I got to tell my wife everything that's going on, admit to what's going on, admit to what I done did, because it's all going to come out in court about the relationship. He said, Jay, I was 100% confident. I was confident that when I went to trial, I was going to beat this. Can't convict me of doing something I didn't do, Jay. People get convicted every day of stuff they didn't do. So if you ain't do it, man, I feel pretty good that you might get out one day. He said, but Jay, that's all it was, man. I drove by, I seen her and old boy. I went and parked at the cemetery, and then I went home. You believe me, right? I said, we all innocent, man. So I didn't do it either, you know what I mean? Somebody else was driving that car that night. He says, everybody I talk to says I'm going to win this on appeal. They don't got no physical evidence. They got a neighbor saying they seen me get out the vehicle and walk in that direction, which is not true. They got my truck there on the ring camera footage. He told me he just drove by, but the ring camera captured his truck parked. Left that part out. By now, I'm somewhat comfortable talking to her. I said, so how much they give you, man? He said, let me put it this way, Jay. At the age I am, I'll never make it home again. Home to see my grandbabies. Grandbabies, no, they in their damn 20s. They're grown-ass children. Home to see my grandbabies, my kids, my wife. She never talked to me again, Jay. I said, I don't know, man. I'm not a jury. I'm not a judge, but it's a lot of things they can say that you lied about and inconsistencies, and you was at the scene of the crime, the ring camera. You saying didn't pick up nobody else around there, but you're saying you saw somebody else, real coincidental, that on the night you go to break up with her, there's some mysterious figure, slender man over there standing in the shadows, and you said it was dark in the driveway, But somehow he could make out maybe the car door being open, shine the light, and that's what he's trying to say. But I could see where they found a conviction. We would finish that conversation. I'd go back in the cell, and my mind starts spinning about Burus, right? The following day, I talked to my wife, and my wife runs down the phone conversation that she overheard. She said, Jay, who is these crazy people you got me doing 3 ways for? This man's crazy. Whoever he's talking to was crazy. She said that the daughter said during the phone call, when she said the whole stop lying thing, she said, Dad, the text messages said that if she didn't agree to go away, you would make sure she went away. So what that means is he did try to break things off with the woman, but the woman wasn't trying to have it. The woman wanted him. She was going to pursue him, and she was going to tell his wife. She was going to destroy his family, destroy his world, just to have him. And what did that do? It made him hate her. You've seen it. You've all seen it time and time again. When somebody pushes too much, thinking they're doing something good, the other party just ends up hating them. The lady was found in her car, no longer alive. Shell casings on the ground. His truck was at the scene. He was at the scene, and he lied about the whole thing. Well, we fast forward right before I get ready to transfer to the next facility. I'd say I probably had maybe a week and a half left, right? He comes up to the cell one day, and he says, hey, you got a few minutes to talk? And I said, yeah, what's up, man? He said, somebody came forward, man. There was somebody else at the cemetery that night. Somebody that said they saw and can corroborate what I seen. Yeah, it was a dude from out of state, man. A dude from up north came down here. And why would he be in a cemetery in the middle of the night? Cemeteries are dark in the middle of the night. Looking back on it, how did you see? I don't know the layout. Maybe she had 10 street lamps out front. And it was really bright. But he says this man was at the cemetery and saw the entire thing go down. That this man saw the mysterious white guy. This new evidence, Jay, it's got to be given to a judge, got to be given to a jury. Why did this man just come forward just now? Now, here's the part where I tell you it always ends bad, right? After talking to my wife, she telling me what she told me, putting together what he told me, I no longer want nothing to do with Burus. Look out the cell one day and I see old Burus sitting down there and he ain't got his wireframe glasses on. And from 25 feet away, I could tell that he done had his ass kicked. Lumps on his head, his bald head got knots and abrasions all over the top of it. And I look out, no Wesley Snipes is over there by the showers doing pull-ups. This man would do pull-ups all day long. Get drenched in sweat, go take a shower, come out the shower, and right back to pull-ups. Man was a machine. Wesley Snipes never stopped, man. That's all he did. But Snipes is cool with the dude in the cell next to me. Not Poochie, but on the opposite side, dude named Dredd. Big-ass black dude from Richmond, right? He comes up there and, Dredd, man, why you done beat that old man up? Why? Come on, Snipes, a man, he's 70 years old. He said, because the man got a mouth on him. He's a despicable human being. I'm in here for selling stuff, man. He's in here for taking a woman's life. Then he wants to sit in the cell and justify and bash his wife. Ain't nobody trying to hit her. I told him several times, shut up. So he wouldn't shut up. So I went on upside his head, whooped his head. But the man said that was that bad, man. He couldn't be that bad. Man liked to get in there and brag about how he used to drink and whoop his wife. I told him, man, we don't get down with that beating on women stuff, but he was still, come on, man, you know how it gets you, dude. No, I don't know how it gets, man. I had a wife, she passed away. Shut your mouth. He said, but he would consistently talk about it. He said, then you know how it goes, man. Women get you mad to get you. Man, come on, man. You know, like why I'm in here. This is the part that struck a nerve. You know why I'm in here. Try to tell the woman, man. The woman just wasn't trying to hear me. And I wasn't trying to lose my relationship. But hey, didn't think I was going to get caught. He more or less admitted to what he had done. Told Snipes in the cell that A, used to whoop on his wife. That he's always cheated on her. That he was a real bad man to his family. And that when the woman wouldn't agree to his terms, things got physical. She talked about telling, so he took her up out. After hearing Dredd and Snipes talk about this whole situation, I felt disgusted that I ever even talked to this man. So I look down and he's looking at me and I go ahead and I don't want to talk to him. So I go ahead and back up into my cell. He comes up there and the side of his face is all swollen, scratch marks all over his neck. Snipes whooped his ass in that cell, beat that man up, I guess either that morning or in the middle of the night. And he says, hey, Jay, can I holler at you real quick? I said, man, I got stuff going on, man. I ain't got no kick it right now. Oh, you gonna do me like that? Now, I forgot this part of the story. I felt bad for the man. I bought the man a bowl, bought the man a coffee cup, even gave the man some commissary. Here you go, that's for you, old head. Because I didn't want to see him begging nobody. But look, holler at me a little bit, you got a shot of coffee? Nah, I ain't got no shots of coffee. The bag of coffee sitting right there. You can see it clear as day. He looks at it, looks at me. I said, go on, Burus. This is the first time I've ever been rude or disrespectful. Oh, you gonna act like that after I got whooped? I said, go on, Burus. Now, remember, I try to be respectful, man, but I got no respect for anybody that does something like this to a woman, his wife, his children. I said, go on, Burus. I said, look, man, I don't fuck with you, man. Get away from my cell. You know what you did. You know who you was. You know why you're in here. You did that shit. You trying to sympathize and play on good people. Go on somewhere, man. Get away. I said, yo, what did I say, man? And I stand up about that time. Snipe says, hey, man, get up the top tier, man. Get away from this man's cell before you get your ass whooped again, man. Get out of here. Burus goes on down to the bar. This is going to be a recurring thing throughout his life. He will not be going home. He is exactly where he needs to be. And Lord willing, because he's the one that passes judgment, say only God can judge you. It's not so true. I'd have been judged by the judges a lot of times and the jury. But Lord willing, that man will remain right where he was. Old man Burus, somebody I thought was a good guy. Old man Burus, the grandfather, the father, the husband. Old man Burus, killer. Old man Burus, lifer. I know today's story was a little more slow-paced. Wasn't all types of action-packed. This wasn't Die Hard. This wasn't Lethal Weapon. It's just an experience I went through. Something I had to share with y'all. And out of all the bad, I always try to give y'all something good, right? I don't want y'all to hear me when I say this. Think before you act. Advice I'm taking. Think before you act. Think before you speak. Before you do something, I want you to look at the situation or whatever it is you're about to do and ask yourself, is this going to make my life better or make my life worse? Got his ass whooped. Got a life sentence. Like I told you in the beginning, based on your crimes, that's going to determine where you go. Oh, he's off to go around some real savages. Some youngins, 20, 19, 22, 23 years old that really put in that work. Dudes that push that blade. And you know what they can't wait to do? Find a man like him walking around claiming to be innocent, but actually being in there for taking the life of someone innocent. So I hope y'all enjoyed today's story. I've missed you guys, man. I have to say this, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love this. I love YouTube. I love the people I've met throughout the YouTube, the people that I've come to know over the years, the people I see interacting constantly, and then the comments section. I love and appreciate you guys, man. And once again, if you have not hit the subscribe button, please click the subscribe button. Follow, comment, share, all those things that make YouTube what it is. Become a member. If you can't become a member, back to the whole, subscribe. Make sure you follow me on TikTok and Instagram, Jay Williams Let's Live Life, Jay Let's Live Life, on both platforms. Y'all check me out, because a lot of times you don't see me in here, I'm over there. But anyways, these streets, these jails, these prisons, they're all just crazier worlds inside of a already crazy world we live in. And as always, y'all know what I'm doing. Just trying to keep y'all entertained. Oh, you're not entertained? And like always, this is Jay Williams Let's Live Life. And to all my real ones, and there are some real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. And y'all know how we do. Salute.